Hello everyone, and thank you so much, Dr. Ramakrishnan sir, for introducing me. And it is my honor to be a part of the National Biomechanics Day campaign that you have been, pioneering in our university. And since I'm a student of biomechanics, I feel very happy, and I feel very confident that we as a team can take the concept of biomechanics all around the world. So yeah. And I also would like to thank Dr. Nallavan and Mr. Vignesh, my friend, for organizing this event in such a great way and in a successful way. And okay, let me go through towards today's topic, which is Web 3.0 and biosensors, the technology of future in sports. And so about me, as Dr. Ramakrishnan has already introduced me to you. I hope this won't be necessary for now. Okay, so before going into the concept of Web 3.0 and biosensors, I'd like to talk about biomechanics, which is the field of study that this event is based on. So biomechanics is an application of mechanics to the human body and sporting implements, and it mainly involves around studying the forces that is acting on the human body. So the way we move, like how much force is being generated in our joints, or the forces generated in the ground. And even if you're going in a car and if you brake all of a sudden, we just move forward. So how much force will be acting in our neck? So these are kind of things that can be studied using biomechanics. So biomechanics is divided into two parts: kinematics and kinetics. So in kinetics we study the force that causes the motion, and in kinematics we study the effect of the force. Effect of the force means if I push something, the push is a force, and how far the body is moving, or how far the body some body might rotate. So all these things is called as kinematics. And the kinematics can be divided into linear motion, curvilinear motion, angular, and general motion. And kinetics, linear and angular kinetics. So linear and angular, what we mean by linear and angular is, linear means in a straight line. Angular means in a circular or a rotatory movement. Okay, so biomechanics can be subdivided into two different study stream. So if we take biomechanics in physics point of view, we can divide it. We can divide biomechanics into rigid body mechanics. So if we take our human body, if we study the body in the point of view as bones and muscles, then it will be focused on kinesiology. But if we just focus that part, like each joint has some rigid body, then it is a common mechanics, like how a mechanical engineers decode their free body diagram. So if we go through if we go through kinesiology stream, then we study the human movement via kinetic chain. So kinetic chain is nothing but a continuous joint network. So what we mean is our human body is connected with a lot of joints, like from the head, shoulder, hip, elbow, arms, wrist joint, knee, ankle. So all these joints form a chain called as kinetic chain. So kinetic chain is nothing but if the force is applied on one outward end, for example, the palm of the hand, then the whole kinetic chain involves the joint in wrist joint, elbow, shoulder, as well as your whole body. So this is the kinetic chain. The kinetic chain is subdivided into skeletal system, muscular system, and nervous system. So a body movement, a human body moves. We can see the movement, but the initiation of the movement takes place in a microscopic scale. It is by a concept called as sliding filament theory. So that takes place in inside the muscle, and for that to take place, we need the nervous system and muscular system. And when the muscular system contracts, the skeletal system moves. Okay, so that causes the human body to move, and all these things, skeletal system, muscular system is part of anatomy and physiology, and biomechanics is a multidisciplinary study. So what do I mean by multidisciplinary studies? It is a amalgamation of different streams of studies like mechanical principles, mechanical engineering, and biology, anatomy and physiology, and even a part of electronics or electrical engineering is also takes place, because uh, the the nerve signals that is happening inside our body all are nothing but electric pulse. We call it as electric potentials. So it is a mix of multiple different body of studies subjects coming together, and also physical education. So all these different topics come together to form this beautiful subject of biomechanics. Okay. So principles of biomechanics. This is another block diagram where if you go to, so in a human body, we should be able to produce some force to move, and also at the same time we have to maintain the balance and stability of our body. So that is what this block diagram is saying. So for a body to move, there are different types of motion that takes place, uh, and the different types of forces that causes the motion. So linear force, angular force, and torque. Torque is nothing but the circulatory force that happens in the joint. See, in the elbow joint, this movement is called as torque. And angular velocity and angular momentum, these are the derivatives of the basic moment, and projectile motion. Okay. So biomechanics application. Biomechanics can be applied in mechanics and mechanobiology of tissues. So, like we can study the structure or mechanical properties of bones, soft tissues, biomaterials, cells, bacteria, biofilm. So, soft tissues is nothing but your heart, lungs, liver. All those are considered as soft tissues, and hard tissues are nothing but muscles. So biomaterials is a different stream altogether, where if you take implant in in the implant industry, where if I hope you might have seen some, some might have gone through an accident where their bone might have had a crack or something, and they'll be suggested to do a joint replacement surgery or something. So during those type of things, they use different materials. Earlier, it was used. We were using stainless steel as an collecting material that joins the bones, and after that, it was titanium were used to be for this application. And now, in recent times, there have been a lot of developments and research going into material science, and they have been focused on biomaterials, where the scientists are trying to make materials that are similar to our bones or soft tissues like muscle or heart or even eye. So it is a new field of study, and it is growing rapidly with lots of capable researchers joining hands together, and it is a very great field. And dynamics of motion. So that is what we, as a sport biomechanics, mostly do. They study the gait. Some even study the animal movement, bird flight, sport activities. Forensics is in forensic biomechanics, where sometimes they used to study how the accident is caused, or how bone was broken. All those things can be studied. And in robotics, so in robotics, biomechanics is widely used. By studying the human movement in a more in-depth way, we can implement the same strategy and principle in robotics to make a humanoid robot. And we can also use biomechanics in neuroprosthetics. Neuroprosthetics is for amputees. There are they use prosthetic devices, for an upper limb prosthetic device or lower limb prosthetic device, where biomechanics principle can be used to make the prosthetics more user-friendly and comfortable. And there are recent developments where the prosthetics are designed to be controlled by our human mind. So that is called as bionics or neuroprosthetics, and it is a very fascinating field as well. And the growth for the for those fields is very enormous. And fourth is biofluids and modeling. So biofluids and modeling is in applying the computational fluid dynamics, the concept of CFD in blood flow or in airflow. So if we study human respiratory mechanics, then we'll be studying the airflow inside our body. And if you study the the cardio mechanism or flow of blood through heart and in brain, sometimes even in muscles, then it is called as hemodynamics. Okay. So web. I hope everyone know what web means. So web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So a brief history of the web, and I hope everyone know that everyone of us are connected in internet. Even now, this whole conference, this whole meeting is happening in internet. So web one. So if we go around 20 years, 25, 30 years back in the late 80s and the early 90s, when internet was introduced to the world, we used to have web pages where those web pages are called as static web. It was they'll have only a blog or something, a single paper where only the information will be present, mostly as a text. Image was very rare. So that was the beginning stages of web. So that was called as web 1.0, and then came web 2.0. So web 2.0 was known as social web. So what we see today are a few years back, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they were all a product of web 2.0, where the user can share or interact with the content in the web. And web 3.0, which is coined as decentralized web, we'll be talking about it separately. So this is the timeline. Web 1.0 started in 1991, and it lasted till 2004. From 2004, Web 2.0 took over. I hope everyone know about why 2004 is very important, because of Google, YouTube, and even Facebook. All these things grew during this time. And Web 3.0, it has already started, but it hasn't taken over the world like the 2.0 as of yet. Even if you take Web 2.0, it started in 2000, but it took 4 years for Web 2.0 to completely take over Web 1. So Web 3.0 will completely take over in very near future. So yeah, the evolution of web, a comparative analysis. Here we will be seeing like what is the difference between Web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So yeah, Web 1.0 is the older one, where you'll be seeing single banner ads, basic address or content. It will be more of like a blog that we see now. There won't be any interactive things. Even comments won't be. Even in blogs, in recent years we have comments, but in the website of those years don't have any of those things. So the user can just view the screen. You can just open, view, and close. Nothing else can be done with that. And in Web 2.0, we had interactive websites where the text moves, scrolls, we can see all those things happen. It involved a lot of pictures, even videos were found in the website, and they also have online shopping came into force. We can and also the revenue model in internet happened in Web 2.0. So if you are a website where and if many of the peoples are visiting your website, and you have a separate link for what to say, um, uh, for some kind of an a supermarket link where you can buy towards you can buy a certain thing towards your website, and those things, the number of users meant that your website is visited by a lot of people, and you can earn through that by advertisement. So those kind of things were happening in Web 2.0, and even online shopping was a result of Web 2.0. And then obviously YouTube, so web sharing, the content sharing in website and content creation, it all happened in Web 2.0. And the main thing in Web 2.0 is social media, where people uploaded their information and shared their updates with their friends, families who are far from them, and it's a very big thing, because Web 2.0 enabled people from across the world to connect and make our world even smaller. And Web 3.0, it is mostly artificial intelligence based. See, even in Web 2.0, we had personalized ads, but those personalized ads were were based on the data captured by the human, and we the humans in the company. Say, for example, be it Google or Facebook, they channel the data, they process the data, and then they'll personalize the ads based on that. But for Web 3.0, it is mostly all these things: the data, the data processing, and all the analysis will be done entirely by the artificial intelligence. So, and Web 3.0 will be cloud based, where all the storage and file sharing will be happening in the cloud. And so, for example, so here it says semantic web will take the place of Wikipedia. So semantic web is a concept that that pioneers or that drives Web 3.0. So what it is that semantic web is nothing but, for example, in Web 2.0 can be classified as Wikipedia, where there will be a lot of information. Okay, so but the Web 2.0 doesn't know whether this information is correct or wrong, or what it does, or what it means. For example, if you are asking your computer to what is the cost of Jaguar, it doesn't know that we are talking about Jaguar the animal or Jaguar the car. But in Web 3.0, if we say that, it actually what to say, it analyzes the context of the sentences. So it obviously will go for what is the cost of a Jaguar. Then it will go for based on our previous searches or previous interaction with the internet or web. It will decide whether we are looking for a Jaguar car or a Jaguar the animal. So that is what the beauty of the Web 3.0. So the information company, Web 1 was an information company. Since Google was started during that time, it was just based on only information. But later, Google pioneered the platform economy, the Web 2.0. So this is a short example, like what are the companies that pioneered Web 1 and Web 2. Now Web 3, all these companies are they are just a starting level, and because Web 3.0 was happened, and there was just accelerated past 2018 because of all the data is being controlled by a few companies like Google, Facebook, or even Amazon. So what happened was all the important players in web, they had a discussion like we should do something and make web owned by everyone, not by a few entities, not by a few companies. So here you can see a little bit of what separates Web 2.0 and 3.0. So what it is that Web 2.0 is more focused on the end user, or based on the end user, because it is what the company wants. But here, the in Web 3.0, the end user will be focused, but there will be a firewall of security and privacy that that shields the end user from the Web 3.0. You might have seen a lot of cases about against Facebook and Google about controlling the data of the of its users, and the technology, web the previous the web 2.0 was mostly based on Java and Ajax scripts. The current Web 3.0 is mostly based on semantic web and AI. So it will be Web 3.0 is more focused on decentralized technology. So there won't be any centralized location or place where every data will be there, and one place or one place or one company controls every data. So that will be avoided, and that is the main that is the main use or main need for Web 3.0 to emerge. And ownership. So the data in Web 2.0 are completely owned by the companies that run the platform or website. For example, Facebook and Google, they own a lot of the data, most of the data in the world, because because they have a lot of subsidiaries, companies, and sister companies, which has a lot of association with our daily our day-to-day life, like even Android mobiles, which is owned by Google, Gmail, which is owned by Google. So on, even for if you take Instagram, Facebook, it is all WhatsApp, they're owned by Facebook. So these all these things in Web 3.0, it is it is designed, or it is planned to be owned by an entity, or AI entity, which no one will not be able to access. It will be only accessed by that particular person. So it will be more individual based. The ownership will be individual based. And in Web 2.0, there were the 2D graphics and all those stuffs were not found. But what in Web 3.0, this is it is a main thing that separates from. It is one of the main things that separates Web 2.0 from 3.0. So if you take, I'm sure you guys might remember social media platform. It was introduced by Godrej. It was interactive social media, Facebook, where we'll be having a digital place and something, but it failed due to a lot of technical errors and stuff. It is a similar kind of thing where they call it there is a concept called METAVERSE that is being popular, gaining some popularism among the crowds. So where the people are designing their own digital avatar in the web to interact with their friends and stuff. Even in Snapchat, we have a similar kind of thing. So that is what they mean by 3D graphics. Target reach. See, the target reach is community in Web 2.0. If you go, take for an example, if you go towards a single area, for example, if you're here and if you're going to Madurai or Bangalore, and you'll be getting the ads based on that community. So, but in Web 3.0, it will be mostly based on either individual you, or wherever you go, the suggestions or the recommendations will be based only on you. So that is one thing. And applications and all these. We had web applications in 2.0. Now it will be smart applications. Smart application as in where we'll be the website will be evolving dynamically based on the data that we feed, or based on the data they collect from us. That is the thing. And interactive and behavioral advertising is the same. Where interactive advertising is mean that what it means that based on your search, it shows in the 3.0 you'll be giving you'll be getting a lead or more of more other products or whatever it is that you are searching for. But in Web 3.0, it will be mostly based on the neuromarketing principle, where based on the search and whatever phrases you use, or based on the behavioral patterns, the suggestions will be given. So yeah, obviously every new technology or industry, it evolves when it favors the economy of a country and as a world. So Web 3.0 is imminent because the economy or the future economy is completely based on Web 3.0, or Web 3.0 was introduced because they need some kind of an entity to control the economy of the future. Not control, but to channel. So Web 3.0 is nothing but an amalgamation of blockchain, crypto, NFT, metaverse, smart contracts, DeFi, decentralized storage. So all these things are all these things are obviously important. But for our presentation, for this topic, NFTs and metaverse are very important. Because blockchain and crypto is mainly based on finance, and it won't have a much of impact in our field of biomechanics. So, for example, NFTs is nothing but it is used in it is why I'm going to talk about NFT is even in this IPL or EPL or in all these from this year from 2022, NFTs has become a part of marketing campaign or management campaign. So NFTs is nothing but non-fungible token. So non-fungible token is nothing. It is more like a what to say. It is not a currency, but it is more like a possession. Okay. So for example, if you have like in previous years, so in 2011 India won the Cricket World Cup, and the bat that Dhoni used to hit his final six, if it is if it was up for auction for a sale, it is the only single bat that Dhoni used to hit that one six. Similarly, there is if you are going for a digital avatar of that bat, this is the only digital avatar of that bat available. So NFTs are nothing but if a product or if something is called as an NFT, it should be only one. NFT should can never be replicated or something. So if you are going to make that bat that Dhoni used to hit the six as an NFT, it will be they'll have a digital avatar of that bat and they'll be selling that bat to the fans. So these things are now they have been started to follow in sports. So to gain more to improve the economy of sports and for the overall growth of business. And the metaverse. So yeah, the metaverse is one of the most important part of the Web 3.0. So metaverse is nothing but the digital universe, where it is just growing. I'm sure you'll all be aware of VR games and stuff. Metaverse is nothing but building a common universe for multiple interactive digital sessions or games, where people will be having their own digital avatar in the web. So if we'll have a similar features of ourselves in the digital world, where we'll look like somewhat in a digital shape or something. Will be most like a cartoon character, or in future there might be have to be very similar to our own body, and we'll be interacting with stuff. So even if you Googled Amazon, they are actually proponing more of the future sales, where if you're going to buy a chair, say for example, if you're going to buy a glass, they'll have a 3D scan of our body, a 3D avatar of our digital avatar will be scanned and uploaded, and we can wear that particular glass based on the dimension that's provided by the manufacturer, and we can wear and see whether the glass will be fitting us or not, or whether the whether a particular dress or a chair or a car or bike will suit us. So those things can be found using the metaverse. Even we can interact, like play games. We can work on new equipment, sport equipment like a cricket bat or a tennis racket. We can use it and see whether how good it is in the metaverse, and then maybe we can use it in the real world. So uh, so metaverse is one of the big thing that, and it will be growing very soon. In very near future, it will be replacing the Facebook that we have now. So yeah, biosensors. What do you mean by biosensors? Biosensors is a device that converts biological signal into into a measurable electrical signal for us to analyze. So Professor Leland C. Clark is the father of biosensor. Okay, so biosensor, it is actually divided into multiple subdivisions, but the main subdivisions are transducing element and biorecognition element. So transduction elements is nothing but it uses transducer where it converts it converts the mechanical signal into an electric signal, and then the electrical signal into mechanical signal. For us to all these signals will be captured and analyzed by us later. So biorecognition element is nothing but recognizing the sensors will be used to recognize a particular element in the body. For example, blood type, or DNA or an antibody or something like that. Okay. So in transducing element, we have further subdivisions: mass-based biosensor, electrochemical-based biosensor, and optical biosensor. In mass-based biosensors, it is divided into magnetoelectric and piezoelectric, where the mass of the body, the mass as in the force applied on that body, will cause a magnetic field or magnetic force on the magnetic field, and that change in magnetic field will cause a signal. In piezoelectric, the mechanical force will be turned into an electric signal, and piezoelectric is divided into quartz crystal microbalance and surface acoustic wave. These are two different technologies in piezoelectric. In electrochemical biosensors, we have a potentiometric sensor, amperometric sensor, impedimetric sensor, and conductometric sensor. So the electrochemical sensor is mainly used to get the to study the physiological analysis of human body, where the chemical components causes electric signals. And in optical-based sensor, is nothing but use of IR rays or ultraviolet rays to to pass through a body, and based on the reflected light, we get based on the altered properties of the light, we analyze the data and interpret the result. So optical biosensors is of four types: surface plasmon resonance, Raman and FTIR, fiber optics, and even there are a lot of other biosensors like IR, UV. Okay. So the main characteristics of a sensor is based on its accuracy, precision, resolution, sensitivity, selectivity, and specificity, non-linearity, and hysteresis. So accuracy is, of course, how accurate that sensor signal is. There is precision is how close, or the difference between accuracy and precision is nothing but accuracy is nothing but however time that sensor is used to get a single data, all of the time the result will be the result should be same. Precision is nothing but the true data or theoretical data that we captured, that we calculated using a mathematical model. So and the resolution is nothing but the overall range, or the signal range of the sensor. Sensitivity is nothing but some sensors are very sensitive to the signals, or the signals from from another place or in the atmosphere. So selectivity and specificity, it is based on the measurement of what we are measuring. So if you are measuring, if you are using an EMG to measure muscle contraction, but if you are moving and your sensor is into the atmospheric movement, so all those movement might cause few noises. So that is so whatever we are measuring, we just only want this signal. So that is what the muscle contraction signal. So that is what selectivity and specificity means, and non-linearity and hysteresis. So non-linearity, what it's mean by is most of the signals will be they won't be linear in nature. It will be non-linear, but we'll be trying to fit that signal into a linear pattern so that it will be easy for the human mind to comprehend that signal. Hysteresis is nothing but the noise. Every sensor will have its own noise. Noise is nothing but it is caused by the environment or by the external factors. So yeah, sensing and actuating. So if you go in the biosensor, we have two different two sides of a single coin. So one is sensing and another is actuating. So what happens is sensing means it senses the signal. Actuating means it uses the signal to if you are applying if I'm touching my hand, the motor neurons in my hand, it sends signal to my brain that someone is touching. So that is sensing. And if someone else is touching me without my permission and then I just react, then this reaction is called as actuating. So what do you mean by MEMS? The word MEMS is nothing but micro electromechanical systems. So MEMS is abbreviated as micro electromechanical systems. It is nothing but it is a system which consists of both electrical and mechanical elements. Okay, most of the sensors we use now is electromechanical sensors, and the introduction of MEMS revolutionized the industry, what we call as industry 3.0, microchip and all those things, the microprocessor, all those things were a result of MEMS. So yeah, as the block diagram shows, physical change, the sensor sends signal and as an electric form, and the micro actuators will be sending another signal to our body for a physical change again. And there are different MEMS used. MEMS is used in motion detection, in environment, in audio detection. Audio detection is nothing but if you might have a mobile phone where your mobile phone will receive the call, a sound from your friend far away, and it will also send your voice from your phone to your friend. So all these things, that is what the audio means. Fluidic micro actuators. These sensors are used in sweat analysis or lactate analysis. Piezo actuators, micro mirrors. Micro mirrors are used in nanorobotics or in biomedical sensors. In motion sensors is nothing but there is a sensor called IMUs, inertial measurement unit. It measures the movement in 6 degrees of freedom, sometimes even in 9 degrees of freedoms. So they are used to measure the movement in both linear and angular pathways. And some sensors, like in environment, where we can use the MEMS sensors in environment to determine the atmospheric pollution level, sometimes even the humidity level. So all these things are used. Piezo actuators are used in pressure sensors or in force sensors. So you might have heard of where if you are placing your foot on a platform, and if you want to calculate what amount of force is generated, the piezo actuating MEMS are used to get the how much force is applied by your foot, or sometimes even by your arms. So that is the thing. So yeah, this is one small example for comparison. Biosensors to measure cholesterol. So there are two different technologies to find it out: electrochemical and optical. Uh, Electrochemical are considered to be the most important cholesterol biosensor because it's very accurate for to measure the cholesterol level. Electrochemical sensors are more accurate because they measure it directly. But if you go for optical, it measures indirectly. Both are good, but the accuracy level is more higher in electrochemical. Uh, uh, in optical, obviously the light is passed through the human body, and how much the body, how much of the light is being absorbed. Then, based on that, it is determined. So, yeah, based on and the electrochemical sensors are based on enzymatic catalysis of reaction. In optical, it is diffusion of analytes. Analytes is nothing but the rays. So electrochemical sensor has very low response time. It is very instant to show you the result. But in optical, it takes time to gather the ray and then compute and show us the result. Electrochemical is highly sensitive. Highly sensitive means even a minor change in the cholesterol level can be measured in electrochemical sensors. In optical, it is good, but not as good as electrochemical. And electrochemical sensors are actually low cost. Optical is they are high cost. One thing is uh, the why the difference is sometimes the electrochemical sensors has to be uh, inserted inside the body. So sometimes the electrochemical sensors will be invasive, but optical sensors are designed to be non-invasive. So your cholesterol value can be found by just standing in front of a sensor or a light or an optical sensor. But sometimes in electrochemical sensors you might have to consume a pill with sensor or something, or by an injection, similar kind of thing. Uh, so yeah, this is what I told about sensing and actuating. So it's a complementary phenomenon where feel, see, the feel of touch, hear, and vision. They are all senses. We get that senses, we process it, and then based on the senses we react. So reaction here is actuate, move, project, or make sound. All these this is an complementary phenomena means they are both what is it? They are both two sides of the same coin. It is interconnected. Okay. So yeah, what in the field of sports and biomechanics, how well, how important these sensors are is what we are going to see now. Brief introduction to biosensors used in sports applications. So there are different kind of sensors that is being applied in sports for a biomechanist to analyze. One of them is eye tracker, where we measure how we are moving our eyes, how fast we are moving, and where we are seeing, how long we are seeing. Those can be measured. And heart rate. Heart rate can be measured by using ECG. ECG is nothing but electrocardiography. And muscle contraction can be measured using EMG, electromyograph. And brain waves. So you can also measure the brain activation using EEG, electroencephalography, and electrodermal activity. It is galvanic skin response. So electrodermal activity is nothing but the skin temperature, or how our skin temperature changes based on the situation that we are exposed. And facial expression tracking. Mostly camera based, where so how our facial expression changes based on the environment or work that we are forced into. So these things are used, the biosensors are used in these applications to measure and analyze these data to get a more clear insight into the mind of an athlete, so that we can find a solution to the problem in a more quantitative, scientific, and systematic way. So this is a more, here we have, I have segmented the sensors based on the applications. So psychophysiology, we can use EEG, EMG. HR is nothing but heart rate. HRV is heart rate variability. So it's different, but it's different from ECG. So these sensors are used, and for perceptual, cognitive, and for cognitive studies, we use eye tracking, EEG, and GSR as well. So GSR is galvanic skin ratio. And perception and action, eye tracking and decision making. So if you are a football player, if you are a F1 racer, and if you are going at a high speed, or you have only less than a second to think and react, so all those things will be very important for an athlete. So those things can be measured or tracked using eye tracking and EEG by combining all these sensors. Now, sports vision training. For sports vision training, we'll be using eye tracking, EEG, and heart rate variability. Sports vision training is also similar to what I said about F1, but here if we go for it will be more applicable in goalkeeping, goalkeeping athletes in football or hockey, similar to that, where what they are thinking, how they are making the decision, all those things can be recorded and analyzed and then computed to have a better understanding, like how will that particular athlete is responding to that stress stimulus. And performance under pressure. So obviously in elite level, every game will be performing. Every game will be a high pressure environment. So for that purpose, we have to measure. We have to measure how much pressure is that athlete undergoing. See, for some people, they tend to lose confidence, or they tend to lose their game if they are under a lot of pressure. We can't expect every athletes to be like Dhoni or Federer, where they'll maintain their cool. So for that, for us to do that, we have to measure the pressure experienced by that particular athlete. So we'll be using HRV, GSR, and BP. BP is blood pressure. So GSR is galvanic skin response, and heart rate variability. So these are the overall things. And so if you might ask how this sensor and Web 3.2 is important for biomechanics, well, in Web 3.2, as you know, everything will be cloud-based, and all the data will be happening in the all the data will be stored in the cloud, and nobody will own the data. It will be only owned by the end user. So for example, if an athlete is coming to me to do all these testings, I'll be testing the athlete based on these sensors data, and only if the athlete shares this data to me, I can analyze the data and I can give a proper solution to the data, and everything can be maintained in a safe and private. It will be mostly 100% privacy will be maintained, and nobody will be able to take a look at the data and understand what is going on, except for the user and the person that is doing the decoding. That is one of the things. And another thing is, it doesn't have to be, what I mean is, it doesn't have to be that the athlete should be only coming to the laboratory or the testing center to do this or those things. So because of the smartwatches and wearable techs that is seen a surge of growth in the past few years, what they are doing is even all these data will be processed by the AI and will be will be recorded in real time. So every second of our every second that we live, every second of our training will be recorded in these sensors, and it will be stored. It will be kept on stored in the cloud, and we'll be getting more in depth and activity based data, not just based on laboratory data but on real time data as well. So this technology, it is going to be the future, and it is going to be a very important part of the sports science, especially biomechanics. So that we can map the data, we can map and capture an athlete's performance accurately, and give an output with a lot of insight and result oriented. Uh, you know, and the report can be result oriented. Where if the so see whatever it is, whatever analysis we do, if the input data is good, only then we will get an output data that is good. We can't make a bad data into a good data. That is not possible. So if we get only when we get good data, we can give a very good output for the athletes to improve. And these biosensors coupled with the 3.0 will give a lot of doors open to help us understand the floodgate of performance tracking and performance analysis, sports science, everything. So we can analyze whatever it is. We can analyze the player from somewhere else if we get the data from our own lab. So that's the beauty of this. And also the we also talked about metaverse. So there is a new field of research called as there's a new field of topic in sports science. It's called the digital athlete, where similar to metaverse, the athlete's digital version will be uploaded into that into the digital world. Say for example 3.0, where whatever tests that is being done, the athlete's physiology, biomechanical principle, biomechanics, everything will be recorded, and it will be it will be fed into the digital athlete, so that it replicates the physical athlete accurately. So by taking that athlete and by asking and by making the digital athlete perform the complex tasks, by making that athlete perform the complex task in digital world, we can find out how long it will take for that particular athlete based on his current running pattern, gait pattern, or change of direction pattern. He'll be whether he'll be able to get injured in a year or two, or whether his action is very good. I know that he won't be able to get injured. All these things can be calculated by using this without even making the athlete to do all these apart from his or her training. So that's the thing. I hope this small presentation gave you some new insights, and I'd like to interact with you, all you people.